starting over. The ballot has sections in it. You're all familiar with this because you've judged some at some other time, I'm assuming. It has content, delivery, and language. The judging criteria talks about those very sections, what the content sections mean, what the delivery sections mean, and what the language sections mean. We've had at least 6 conference calls now having to do with how a virtual contest is going to be run. And what that has done for us is bring up some of the things that could happen in a virtual call. So I am going to go over how you as a judge are going to judge those things, okay? For example, speech development is going to be the same. People develop their speech in the way that they're going to deliver it. And the effectiveness, that's on you. Was it effective to you as a judge? So when you're looking at somebody virtually or you're looking at somebody in person, you're going to be paying close attention to them and you're going to see if that speech was effective. We'll talk about how you can make them more visible to you in just a moment. Speech value has to do with the logic and the ideas. Physical appearance. Now this is where virtual comes into play. We have only so much web space, web camera space for every speaker. The speaker is going to need to make sure, and we'll check this before you guys come into the room, from the waist to the top of their head needs to be showing on the screen. If you are judging a humorous contest, I know that there are a couple of humorous contestants who will be backed up from the webcam so you can see their feet because it's important for their speech. Whichever distance the webcam is to their face, to their body, they're going to stay in that position. They are not going to be moving their camera around. They're not going to be doing this, okay? Because that's distracting. So if you see that, that comes under physical, and you would mark them down. If they zoom their face in and then back up, same thing. The physical part of this speech contest is supposed to be back from the camera, waist to the head, and not touching or moving the camera itself. So voice and volume and that, I want you not to mark someone down should there be echo or any other anomaly in their microphone that we cannot control. Try not to pick somebody whose audio quality was just crystal clear as really high on voice, because in a contest, the voice is how they presented their talk verbally. Are they using vocal variety? Are they flexing their words in their speech? It's the same as you seeing them in person. So try not to get them, try not to use the things that the audio in the microphone would give you. The manner is the same as in a physical contest. Are they assured? Are they enthusiastic? Are they direct? Are they reaching you as an audience member? These are things that you are going to feel as a judge, even if you're watching them audibly, virtually. Same with the language, appropriateness and correctness. There's no change there. So the things where you are going to mark a contestant down have to do with the delivery section. But there's one more thing that I am going to tell you to watch for and mark down should you see it. And that is in the, let's see, I'm going to put it in physical. And that is, if you watch a contestant and like I am, I'm looking down and I'm reading, and then I look up at you. And then I'm looking down some more and I'm reading, and then I'm looking up at you. That person somewhere has their notes for their speech in their view, and they're looking at them as they're delivering their speech. In the delivery section of a speech, if you were physically in the same room with a contestant and they had note cards, you would know they weren't prepared. You would not mark them as high as you would somebody who did not have any notes. Same goes here. And we're going to use that physical area for that markdown, because there has to be something. It could also go under speech development. If the speech isn't developed and ready for delivery, that's another good place to mark them down. So you as judges in a virtual environment would not be able to see if my notes were on my laptop back here and I could just read them. But I think that if I were reading something and my eyes were locked on something the whole time, you would notice that. I'm not moving around. I'm not making really good gestures. I'm just reading. Again, you as judges, pay attention to what you see on the screen and how you're hearing that speech come across to you, okay? So you're going to have that option to separate the good, excellent, and mediocre speakers through that.
May I say something about that?
Sure.
One thing you may not realize is that the speaker will be taking up the entire screen because they're going to go to speaker view.
Yes.
So it'll be much easier for you to see what their eyes are looking at.
Yeah. I want to talk about that right now. You as judges, I'm going to ask you when I'm probably going to have Richard ask you when we come into the room, because he's your chief judge, to make sure that you, when the speaker is brought to the screen by the contest master is going to tell you that the first speaker is, so-and-so. When that contest master brings that person, their name up, and you're going to have the order, what I want you to do is find their tile on your screen. So for example, right now, I see John Murray at the top. I see Joe Mandoki at the top. At the bottom, I see Don, but I don't see Don's face. So I'm in normal conditions, I would see every contestant's face. You may not see participants, but you will see the faces of the contestants. So you pick a person's tile, you hover over them, and there are 3 dots in the upper right corner. You click that once, and you click on the words pin video. That puts that person in the middle of the screen. Okay, now you are only seeing them. You're not seeing a bunch of people. You'll see people off to your right or at the top, but you're going to see one person. So their video is going to be easy for you to judge because you'll see them. And then you can unpin the video on the screen. It's not in the corner anymore. It's on the left-hand side. You unpin the video, and you can go back to your gallery view or whatever view is more comfortable for you. The timers will be pinned by the contestant. The contestant will have their own camera and control. When they're getting ready to speak, they will be finding the timer who has the timing cards, which I don't have them in this room, but timing cards are going to fill the screen like this with red, yellow, and green. And they will see that for their speech, so we'll know when to stop. The pinning is exactly the same for them. The timer view is full screen, so they can see the timing cards. So it's actually an advantage in virtual for speakers because they will be able to see these cards big and bold. When the speaker is done speaking, it'll be just as obvious as in a physical contest. They'll either say, Mr. Toastmaster or Mr. Contest Master, or some gestures in some way that their talk is over. You'll have that minute of silence. We'll call for that, and you'll have that minute of silence to mark your ballot just like you do in a physical contest. And I would expect that all of you would have your ballot on your desk next to you, next to your laptop, so you can do just that. Just like in a regular contest, you must sign the bottom of your ballot, and you must pick first, second, and third if there are enough contestants to fill that. If you only have 2 contestants, which I think we have in the first 2 contests, you will just put in first and second. If you only put in first, we're going to disallow your ballot. If you don't sign it, we're going to disallow your ballot. So it's the same. So what happens to your ballot after you've filled it out and you've picked your winner? You know, you pick first place, second place, and you put them across the bottom. You're going to do the same thing you would do in a physical contest. You are going to take the bottom of the ballot. You're going to tear it off. And then you're going to take your smartphone and you're going to photograph it. You're going to photograph the ballot like this. Then you're going to text that ballot to Richard Dixon, who's our chief judge. He will receive your ballot and he will then pass that on to the ballot counters. So he will wait until all the ballots are in. There should be 6 in every area contest, so 5 regular ballots and 1 tiebreaker. Make sure when you text him that you tell him, no, you don't need to because you've signed it. If your signature is clear and your printing is clear, he'll be able to tell who sent him that ballot. Hang on, there's somebody chatting with me. So let me see what's going on. Okay, great. Richard Dixon's phone number, 309-267-2434. You will get that also on Saturday. Okay, you'll get that probably via text. Okay, so you have this torn off thing. Just set it aside. And if you are if you are also judging for the second contest, you can stay and wait for the announcement of the winners because that's normally what you would do. You can leave if you need to. You can close your video down and take a break. But the next contest is in a completely different video conference call. So you might want to check in on that. I recommend that you stay and get to the announcement of the winners because that's what we're going to do. The ballot counters will be segregated from the room into something called a breakout room. The 2 ballot counters and the chief judge will go away and look at all these ballots that you've sent, and the one ballot counter will count them. The other ballot counter will tally them. They will switch roles. The second ballot counter will read them, and the first ballot counter will tally them. They will compare notes with the chief judge. If they're identical, the chief judge will mark up a results form, just like in a physical contest. That results form will be texted, photographed off the phone, and texted to the contest master, because the contest master is the person who's going to announce the winner. I'm going to send the digital copy of the certificate to all the contest masters. I recommend that you take a moment once you have the names to write the name on the contest, on the certificate. And then when you announce the winner, you bring it up to the screen and you show it to everybody. And the winner is, and then you give the name. That way we actually have a contest. We actually have the close of a contest. Contest winners are notified. Contest master will read the names 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, just like the results form says. And we will give them their certificate, and the first place winner will also have a trophy mailed to them as soon as possible after the contest. So they're not going to lose out because we're virtual. They are going to get their certificate and a trophy. So the contest will actually be very real. When these area contests are complete, we will be doing a division contest in the same manner in April. They will be virtual. So your winners will be important. We will make note of who they are and pass those on to the division directors as winners. Now I'm going to unmute everybody and ask you if you have any questions about this or if anything is unclear. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Any questions?
The time between the first and between 30 and 31 is going to be about how long?
I think it's 30 minutes.
Okay, so that'll all be. We'll kind of play that by ear then, or?
No, I actually left an hour, I think, between. I might have left a half hour, but the contests are not going to take the hour and a half to 2 hours each. So I'm expecting that we will actually be finished earlier than the next contest needs.
But you said you're going to send out a different link to get into that one then.
Everybody had, all the links are actually on the calendar for each contest.
Okay.
And if you are a contestant, you will be getting the link for your contest in an email as well. But, you know, email is kind of clunky. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. It's very important that we all know where we're supposed to be and when. So with that, check the calendar. District52.org, click on the calendar, look for your contest, and the link is in there.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cersei, this is Audrey. I have a question.
Hi, Audrey.
Currently, I don't have a way of printing anything. Is it necessary to have to print the ballot?
Wow, that's a great question. No, well, no, but how are you going to send a copy of it to the chief judge? Are you going to just take a picture of it off your screen or something?
Am I going to do what?
You're going to need to send the information to the chief judge. So do you want to just text him the information?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. If you can't print, that would be, you know, that would be acceptable. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
But he
Okay.
would have to know that it's you. So you'd have to sign it. So you'd say, you know, first place so-and-so, second place so-and-so, third place so-and-so, signed Audrey Forte. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. All right. All right. Now, Luz
Wait,
was disconnected.
And she
that
would
may
do
happen
that
during the
all,
contest.
wait a minute, she would
Yeah.
do all that by text and there wouldn't be a physical photo coming to me? It would
Correct.
all be by
But
text?
she can't print.
Okay, and it's sufficient for authentication that I have her in my phone already and I know that it's coming from Audrey? That's
Well, she's
sufficient?
going to say signed Audrey Forte, which is part of the text. Then there is nothing else I can do about that. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm just affirming.
Yes,
that
I am.
all
I
good.
am making a value judgment here. Yes, that's going to be okay. Okay. If you can print, it's preferable. If you can't, you need to let us know, like Audrey did, before you start, because things happen. I know they happen. Ink runs out. Things happen. But let us know ahead of time. This can't be done this way. I need to do it a different way. Help me figure out a different way. Whatever it is.
If I can make a suggestion, maybe she could go to open the form on her computer and then take a photo of it. And then she'd have exactly what she needs to send in and she could send the bottom in.
She could send the bottom in, but she couldn't fill it out. I mean, I could fill it out on my smartphone, but
Oh,
it
I
would
see.
take
Yeah, okay,
me
yeah.
probably 20 minutes to do that.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
Is there anyone nearby, Audrey, that you could borrow one from?
I'm going to I will look into my Toastmasters container because I may have some old ones actually.
Okay. Okay. If we do not print, do we send a photo of the ballot? Okay. If you don't print, okay, what are you taking a picture of, Angie?
No, hers says if she does print, do we send a photo of the ballot?
Oh, yes.
You just need to send,
Exactly. The
just
bottom.
like the tear off, just because it'll be a much better picture. Just tear it off
Just
like you
this
would a
part.
normal ballot. There you go.
Not the
Cersei.
whole
Thank you.
ballot. This part.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Good questions. Anybody else? All right. I
Cersei?
have, huh? Yes.
Cersei,
Yes.
Ladies first.
thank you. I just came to realize something. I believe I had volunteered to be a judge for C31.
Okay.
Is that correct? Do you know?
Joe, are you in C31?
I think it's Maria.
Oh, it's Maria. Okay. What club are you in?
PDT, and I believe one of the contestants is from that club. Can I just switch with Donnie? Switch roles
Yes.
with him since he's not
Yes,
in the
you
club?
can. You can switch with Donnie.
Okay, perfect. Donnie, you're
Okay.
the judge now.
Roger that.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, Cersei.
You're welcome. That's a good call. Yeah, I don't know who's in every club, so yeah, it's good that you do. Anybody else?
Seriously, I see that the links for the Zoom calls are now published. Can we, as contest master chairs, whatever it is, can we tell our contestants, can we tell our teams that? Can
Oh
we
yeah,
share that information with our teams?
absolutely. Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I believe I have all the Zoom calls set so that you can join before I do, but I also have them set up with waiting rooms. The contest waiting rooms are designed so that I can let the contestants in first with the contest master and chief judge, so we can do the tech check 15 minutes before. I know that a lot of you are, eager, or you want to be there on time, or you're not sure about your technology. That's all great, because you can test a lot of things on your end before I let you in the room. Once the contest master and the chief judge are in the room and we've got the technology figured out and everybody's set, we will let in all the judges, timers, and ballot counters, but not participants. So if your name is on the list and I see that you've joined, you will be allowed in the room next. That way you can check in with me and with the contest master and make sure you've got everything. If there's any last minute glitches we need to know about, we can find out then. The last people that will be let in the room are audience members. The room is going to hold 300 people, so you can invite anybody you like. We don't have a limit on this Zoom anymore right now. 300 is a lot of people, so there is a limit, but it's pretty high. So you can invite friends or family to watch if you'd like. Just give them the Zoom link. They do not need a Zoom account to join. They just click the link and they can join. The more the merrier. You're going to enjoy it. I do want to tell anybody who's not been on a call before that we are opening up the audio on this call. What that means is the speaker will hear feedback from everyone. Because you're at home and because there might be something that could interrupt in the background, I would want you to be aware that you are, as if you're in a physical location, you're doing a contest. So if that's the case, you wouldn't have your dog in the same room with you, or you wouldn't have a baby or any other person who's going to come in and talk to you. You want to make sure that you have prepared that space that you're zooming in from in that way, in the same way that you would arrive at a physical contest. Should you be unable to do that, just mute your microphone, no problem. Keep in mind that everything that happens behind you and around you can be seen. So if you don't want to be seen, that's fine too. Mute your video. You can do all of that. As judges, all I care about is that you can see the speaker on the screen and make a good judgment as to whether or not that person should win that contest. That's it. Very simple. So we just want to make sure you can see the contestants. And that is probably the trickiest part of this whole thing. So. Anybody else? Yes, Richard.
At this time, I've only received Albert's and Lawrence's certifications, verifications of
Eligibility?
eligibility. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I need those. Either you can email me if you have that, or you can text it to the same number, which is a good test to make sure all that's going to work on Saturday.
Correct. Yeah, that eligibility form is required as a judge. You need to, sign one of those forms and get it to our chief judge. That's part of getting ready for this contest. So do that tonight so that that is taken care of. Okay. Anybody else?
Seriously?
So are you gonna put Richard's phone number in the chat so everybody has it?
Richard's phone number went in the chat. I will repeat it here. It is 309 267 2434. Okay. So that's your chief judge. Most of the rest of the communication will happen between functionaries and their other person, like, for example, the ballot counters and the chief judge, you guys and the chief judge, the chief judge and the contest master, people like that. So I think that your role is probably the simplest. You're making a value judgment on your ballot and you're sending it off. Now, do make sure you're using the right ballot. If you are a tie-breaking judge, you will be chosen as that by Richard from the list, and he will send you a tiebreaker ballot. So according to TI, he's in charge of choosing the tiebreaker. You know, I'm letting him do that. So from the list, you won't know if you're a tiebreaker unless you receive a tie-breaking ballot. Okay?
Seriously?
Yes.
I see here on the District 52 calendar that tomorrow there's a pre-contest call from 7 to 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, I just set that. I just set that up before this one.
Fantastic. Now, who do you recommend to be on there? Should all the contestants, all the functionaries,
Anybody who is unsure of how this all works. Anybody.
Okay, so, gotcha. All right,
Not
thank
easy
you.
numbers, but anybody who's participating in the contest should check in. Even if you check in, say, hey, can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I far enough? You know, do I sound okay? And then sign on. It'll be like a Q&A time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody
Oh,
else?
can I share a little trick to somebody? Heidi just shared this with me. To mute and unmute your phone, your microphone. To mute and unmute your microphone, just hit your space bar.
Okay, mine just paused the recording. I guess I don't get to do that.
Except for seriously.
Yesterday we were talking a little bit about the fact that it is good that for the humorous contestants to be able to see people react and maybe even hear them. But if you're doing something, like, if I'm moving my hands now, that's very distracting.
Oh yeah.
To the if you're up in the gallery, that's going to be very distracting. So you may choose, if you're not being perfectly still, and to be mute your video and just have audio.
Oh yeah.
I certainly think that's where I'm going to be tomorrow. Is I'm not going to have my video on,
right?
Unless there's a reason for me to step in or when I go off to talk with the ballot counters, I'm going to have it on then. But otherwise, I'm going to be off video.
Right, and that's true. I mean, if you, you're at home or your office or somewhere, and if you are not constantly aware that you're on video, you might do something awkward. So maybe you don't want to be on the screen.
Richard?
You don't have to be as a judge. You just have to see the speaker.
Yeah. Yes,
Richard,
Marsha.
Just a quick check here. This is the second time I've heard you say tomorrow is the contest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my head's wrong. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. It's Saturday.
Every day it's tomorrow for me. Yeah. So yes, it's Saturday. Monday, Saturday, both Saturdays in a row. We have 4 contests this Saturday and 4 next Saturday. We have 1 already on Sunday and 2 the following Sunday. So it's going to be fun. Lots of fun. Anybody else?
CirceD, I have a question. This is Audrey again.
Hi.
So at the contest, can't we just privately chat our whatever we need to Richard instead of sending it to him directly?
Sure you can. You
Okay.
can do that. Yeah.
Is that good, Richard?
I think she means her Audrey, do you mean your
Are
ballot
you
or
talking
the
about the
comment?
final voting?
Yeah, I'm talking about for voting instead of actually sending it to his number.
You could do that because the chat, let me back up for just a second. I was not going to record the contest, but I have backed off from that. I am going to record the contest from the contestant period to the winner period. And then I'm going to ask our video person, Linnea, to split them up so that each contestant will have a private video of their speech, but we will also have the announcement of the winner in a video as well. So yes, your chat will be captured, and that chat would be the record that you voted. So yes, Richard could pick up a private chat. You do need to make sure it's private though.
Right, gotcha.
Okay.
And then I will cut and paste that to the ballot counters. It's
Great.
necessary that every judge's vote gets to the ballot counters and each of them verify the vote, that it didn't just come from me.
That makes it a little tricky. Is that a pain in the neck?
I think that's just a cut and paste, I think. Yeah, you know, I would prefer most people to do this via the phone,
Via
because
text.
that's the easiest way.
Okay,
But if you do it via chat,
let's do it that way,
and I
because
have,
then he can text his ballot counters your votes as well.
right, it's much easier that way.
Yeah, let's not do the chat.
But
Okay.
I understand if you can't do that, Audrey, then okay, we can deal with 1 out of the 6 or 7 that we're using. But if we have all 7, that slows the process down.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So Audrey, if you can text, better. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Richard. Forgot about that little piece. All right. If you don't have any questions, or you can't think of any right now, we'll call this meeting to a close. If you come up with questions or think of something that I didn't talk about, please email me or join the call tomorrow night when we talk about everything, anything, all of it, all over again. But thank you for joining. I noticed that there are several judges who didn't make it to this call, so I'll have to be reaching out to them and giving them the video, because it is important that they understand exactly how to vote and how to send this to the chief judge and how to pin people. If they don't have that, they're not going to be able to make as good a judge as you guys are. Keep in mind, at the bottom of the back, or page 2 of the judge's form, it does talk about the code of ethics. You should reread that as a judge. It matters to me. It matters to the contestants. We are in the job of, you as judges are in the job of picking a winner for the World Champion of Public Speaking that happens in August. I don't take that lightly. You guys are very important. You're a significant piece of this contest. When you vote, and you vote according to what you see and you feel and you understand, we get a winner. And that's what I want. Okay, Don, I won't repeat what you chatted. Thank you all for coming. Good to see you all on the call. And I will be seeing most of you on Saturday. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks again. Great program.
Bye.